I am going to introduce to you all UC San Diego's leader, Chancellor Pradeed Khosla. And so, for many of you, this is the first time that you're going to meet him, but you're also wondering what is the title of Chancellor, right? Like that's a very fancy title. And so UC San Diego's chancellor is essentially an academic, a thought leader, a CEO, and a lead fundraiser all rolled in one. The chancellor oversees a campus that is larger than some towns. We're talking about UC San Diego here, with more than 40,000 students and 35,000 employees within 7 undergraduate colleges, 6 academic divisions, 6 graduate and professional schools, 2 hospitals, and a variety of clinical and outpatient centers. So basically, the chancellor is very similar to a mayor. They have to run like a very small town. UC San Diego is like a very small town. Under his leadership, UC San Diego has expanded college access and affordability for first generation and underserved students. As UC San Diego's chief executive officer, Khosla has positioned the institution to define the future of the public research university by activating the institution's first ever strategic plan and launching the campaign for UC San Diego, an ambitious 10-year, $2 billion endeavor aimed at transforming the university's physicality, intellectuality, and culturally. And if you have been to UC San Diego lately, you have seen all this construction. So it's all happening. Under Khosla's leadership, UC San Diego has expanded college access and affordability for underserved students, initiated campus-wide interdisciplinary research initiatives to foster collaborative and solve societal challenges, and strengthen university and community partnerships to drive regional impact. And so I want to pass it on now to the Chancellor, who is going to give us a few words of welcome.
Thank you, Claudia. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to UC San Diego, and welcome to Comienza. This is such a great morning. This is one of my favorite events of the year because this is the event that exemplifies why we exist as a university, which is basically to provide access to education to everybody, and especially to San Diegans, and especially to the broader San Diego County and to California. So I'm so very pleased, in fact, extremely happy that you and your family are joining us for this virtual event to learn more about attending UC San Diego. Now, many of you might think that higher education is only for a few people. Some of you might think it's only for rich people. Some of you might think it's only for extremely smart people. And let me just change your views on everything. Higher education is for everybody. And by everybody, I mean everybody, and you are part of that everybody. Our goal at UC San Diego is to make higher education accessible, as in we want you to have a fair chance at coming to UC San Diego. And we also want the higher education here to be affordable, as in we don't want your family income to be a limitation of your ability to come to UC San Diego and be educated. So we have multiple programs. So for example, if your family makes less than $80,000 per year, you pay zero tuition at any University of California school. All University of California schools, you pay zero tuition if your family makes less than $80,000 a year. And certainly that is true for UC San Diego. We also have other programs that help you pay for your books, your housing, your food, and even transportation. So I want you to now think more about applying to college and attending class rather than should you apply and if you can afford it. Let me tell you, you should apply, and we will make sure that you will get a great education which is affordable. We have financial aid programs that basically guarantee financial aid for everybody. We admit students without looking at your financial profile. And once you're admitted, we decide and we figure out how much financial aid you need to come to UC San Diego. So I want you to imagine coming to this campus, going to a classroom, living on this campus. In fact, most of our students have ocean view living. We are building great infrastructure, and my goal is to guarantee housing on campus for just about every student for 4 years. Right now, we can do 1 year for sure, 2 years nearly, but I want us to get us to 4 years. Just remember that at your age, there is a whole lot of insecurity. People wonder, can I do this? Can I do that? Oh, I'm not as great as he is or she is. But let me tell you, you are the future of this country. You have all the greatness, you have all the talent, and you have all the energy that it will take to make this country, to keep this country the way it is. So I just want you to have great faith in yourself, and I want you to know that we are here to help you succeed. So you are the students we want at UC San Diego, and parents and students together we make a team. So we will help you come to UC San Diego. Uh, but in order to come here, your chancellor cannot write your application. Your parents can only do something. At the end of the day, you, the individual student, has to take responsibility, and you must do your part. So learn about and use all the resources that are available to you at UC San Diego. Talk to your teachers, talk to your coaches, talk to your counselors about college. Learn what you need to do to prepare for college. And while in high school, which you are right now, stay on track and complete the admissions requirements for the UC system. The admissions requirements for the UC system have to be completed, because without that, regardless of how smart you are, we are not able to consider your application. So let me just finish by saying you are our future and you deserve a world class education. And UC San Diego is here, one of the top 10 universities in the country, to offer you a world class education. So, as you finish today, dream that you can be here, believe that you can be here, and work towards making your dreams come true. So, stay focused, excel in your studies, and let me just say thank you. Thank you to the parents for being a part of this journey with your student. And just remember, we are here to help you in the best way uh, the best social mobility vehicle is higher education, and the UC system, that's what it does best for Californians. So thank you, everybody, and back to Claudia.
Thank you so much, Chancellor. Very, very important to hear. Higher education is definitely accessible to everybody. UC San Diego is right here in our backyard. So why not apply and why not reach out to us? And again, we have tons of staff here today who are here to support you and help you and figure out how do we get you in. So thank you, Chancellor. I am now going to introduce Assistant Vice Chancellor Maruth Figueroa. So Dr. Maruth Figueroa serves as the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Retention and Success at UC San Diego. In this role, Doctora Figueroa provides leadership to this cluster, creating a culture of success for UC San Diego students through educational opportunities that are strengths-based, invested in community building, and foster equitable educational experiences for students. Dr. Figueroa has over 15 years of experience in higher education, supporting student retention for historically underrepresented students, closing the opportunity gap, and increasing graduation rates. A first-generation college graduate, Dr. Figueroa is committed to collaborations and partnerships that put students first. Her research interests include access and equity for underserved student populations, AB 540 undocumented, documented students, leadership and spirituality development on college campuses. And I have worked with Dr. Figueroa. She is amazing, and I am so excited to bring her onto the stage.
Thank you so much, Claudia, and good morning, everyone. Buenos dias a todos. Let me start by welcoming you and saying that I commend you all for taking the time to be here. I know that Saturdays, if I remember Saturdays when I was a kid, it was chores days, it was, running errands, it was family gatherings. And the fact that you are here taking the time to learn and investing in yourselves and in your familias is incredibly important. Quiero comenzar por felicitarlos por estar aquí hoy y esta mañana con nosotros. Les comento que cuando yo me acuerdo de los sábados en la mañana, eran días de mandados, era día de limpieza, era día de momentos familiares. Y que se estén tomando este tiempo para estar acá, para aprender y para apoyar a las familias a alcanzar ese sueño. es algo realmente de qué celebrar y felicitarlos. De nuevo, yo soy Marut Figueroa, and I serve as the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Retention and Success here on our campus. Here on our campus, I oversee areas that are geared towards helping all of our students succeed, ensuring that they have a strong start as they begin their journey here on our campus, but also that throughout their experience at UC San Diego, they have support systems in place, programs and initiatives that are helping them achieve not only academic, but social and personal goals that they have for themselves and also for their families. There's a range of areas that fall under my portfolio, and you will meet a lot of colleagues here today that are working day to day with the students, with you all, hopefully in the near future, to help you succeed. They asked me to share a little bit about my journey. As Claudia shared, I am a first generation student, and I wanted to go ahead and share a little bit of my personal story. And to do so, I wanted to share just a couple of pictures so that I can, I think a picture tells 1,000 words, right? And so with that, let me see if I can share this, and hopefully you all will be able to see it. Here is my story. I am a first generation college graduate. On here, you see my parents. They're the original folks that started with a dream back home in Guatemala. And this is prior to them migrating to the United States. They met in Guatemala. My dad had a university education, but he did not culminate his studies there. My mom has an equivalent of what's an associate's degree here, but again, did not finish college. And growing up, right, they always instilled in my sister and I that we were going to go to college, that we were going to graduate, that we were going to have a better life. And so here you see my sister and I as little girls, again, right, being here and trying to achieve that goal that my parents had set for us. And of course, the other picture that I wanted to also share here with you all is, one of the things that as a first generation student, and many of you may have, is that as a student who doesn't have somebody who in your family is able to tell you what to do, how to apply, right? You navigate this journey by yourself. But with that, But with that, I wanted to let you know that there are a lot of folks here today that are ready to be able to support you. They're here to tell you all about how to do the application. I encourage you to take note of who you're meeting today, take their email information down so that you are able to get back in touch with them. Because for me, I always knew that I was going to go to college, but my parents, although they provided a lot of support, didn't necessarily know what the application was. In addition to that, they also had a language barrier. My parents were able to do the day-to-day language, but when it came to talking to my counselor, when it came to talking to the admissions officer, right, that was something that they couldn't really support. And so again, I encourage you to ask a lot of questions and note, who you're meeting today so that you can follow up with them. The other picture there that you saw was a group picture. And one of the really interesting facts of that picture, and the reason I have it here is because although I was the first one in my family to go to college and had to navigate all of this a little bit, by myself, in that picture, we're celebrating my sister's undergraduate graduation. And as I reflect on that picture now, there's at least 2 other folks there in my familia that now have graduated. And the baby that I was holding is actually my godson. And my godson, who currently is in his 2nd year at UCI right now. So one of the things that I saw in that picture is really that it is a transformational process for it, that education really transforms not only yourself as an individual, but your familias and your comunidad. And then finally, the last picture that I shared with you there is me as I got hooded with my doctorate. I am the first doctor in the United States in my family, and for me that is a great honor. It is something that when I was hooded. And that's when what it's called when they kind of put the hood on you and they finally call you doctor, after all of those years of education. For me, it took me back to that first initial picture of my parents that you see in Guatemala as they were thinking about a better future, and a better tomorrow for their daughters. So of course, that is a little bit about me. And again, the other thing is that this journey is not linear. This is not a linear journey. This is not a one way and everybody does it the same way. And I think that that is okay, right? One of the things when I first started in college is I thought that I was going to go into business. I was going to go out and be in business and, do that as a living. And here I am, 20 years in higher education. I love the work that I do. Um, but it took some learning, right? And every single thing that I did throughout my educational journey, throughout my career, has helped me to be where I am today, to affirm the purpose that I have in serving my community and in serving the students that I work with. And I think that that's the other piece, right? Is being able to push yourself out of your comfort zone, be open to the questions, be open to meeting new people. For those of you who are going to be joining us, hopefully next fall, go to those events, right? Meet other people, talk to folks in your class. I know that as an introvert, that's something that I struggled with when I was in college, but you have to make sure that you are pushing yourself a little bit out of there, so that you can go through this journey, and in achieving your goals. The other thing is they asked me, right, what is one piece of advice that you can share with the families? And as I was preparing for today, one of the folks that I turned to was Isaac, who is my godson. He is in his second year of college, right? And I asked him and I said, what was the one thing that really made a difference for you as you applied for college, as you started in college, that your parents did for you in supporting you? One of the things that he shared with me is that his parents always pushed him to do better, always encouraged him to do better. And they always assured him that no matter what school, what college he went to, right, that they were going to be incredibly proud of him anyways, right? And of course, we want you to come to UC San Diego. But again, right, affirming that what you're doing is the right thing, that you're on the right path because it is your path, that was really incredibly assuring to him. The other thing is that he said high standards, right? High standards. His parents had very high standards for him and they pushed him, right? When he brought that A, they were like, well, can you do better? When he brought that B, why are you getting that B, right? And although at the time he may have thought, okay, this is so annoying, right? He now thinks about it and he reflects it and he said, yes, they kept me on track. They kept pushing me. And that to me was really useful to be here where I am. So I share this with all the parents as well. You are doing the right thing. You are doing the right thing in supporting your students and becoming the better self of their future. And again, like I said, I commend all of you for being here today. I look forward to seeing you hopefully in the next couple of years here on campus. And I hope that, by me sharing a little bit of who I am and my story, also going back to what the Chancellor said earlier today, right? Education is for everyone. And that you are not alone in this process. And as Claudia has reiterated many, many times, there are a lot of people here today that are willing to answer your questions, that actually want to know what your questions are, because for us, that's important as we continue to prepare and support our students. Again, bienvenidos. Gracias por estar aquí. Y les deseo un buen día. And back to you, Claudia.
Thank you so much, Doctora Figueroa. And how true is everything, right? So many of us are first generation. So many of you are first generation and are wanting and are, you're thirsting for that. And that's exactly what the conference is about, to be able to give you the tools. But more importantly, a lot of us staff here are first generation. We have very similar stories where we were the first ones, where we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know how to ask. And we all have different paths, just like Doctora Figueroa said, of getting there and knowing that there is always someone who is going to help us. And so please, 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 I say that for the billionth time, ask your questions. Let us know what you're wondering, what you're confused about. That's the whole purpose of this conference. And please know that we are more than happy to answer it for you, because maybe we've been in your shoes before. So we know what it's like to have all of those lingering things in your head.